we had a user who was rickrolled by Hugo.
Okay.
It was Cloud Opus, actually.
Okay.
So yeah, a smart LLM. But what happened?
AI is coming for SaaS. Will you survive it? Will I? I don't know. Let's find out. In this episode, I'm happy to welcome Baptiste Jamin, the founder and CEO of Crisp. Baptiste, welcome to Indie Board Session.
Thank you very much.
For people who don't know Crisp, tell us a little bit about what it is, what it's doing, which will give us the context for...
Sure. So basically, Crisp is the kind of chat bubble you have on the website. So it's a company we started 10 years ago now. It's used by around 600,000 businesses around the world. And the goal of Crisp is helping companies to get in touch with their customers and to unify the customer relationship. So it can be from the chat widget on websites to WhatsApp, Messenger, email, and to gather all user communication in one place. And yeah, it's essentially what we do. And right now we have around 1 million people chatting on the product right now. And on a monthly basis, it's roughly more than 100 million people.
Wow.
Yeah, quite
a
a
large
lot.
scale. So how big is the team?
Well, it's a small team in Bootstrap business. We like having human touch. So like lean. So with around 30 people in the team.
So 30 people, you mentioned 8 figures in revenue run rate, in ARR.
Yeah.
And 600,000 users, I guess.
Yeah, because we have a freemium model.
Yeah. And so you said 12,000?
Yeah, exactly.
So pretty nice scale. And you bootstrapped it from the get-go, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we started like 2 co-founders, Valerian and I, when we were in engineering school. And we really wanted to do Crisp the way it is right now, without knowing before competition. And we have really a vision about simplifying the customer relationship. Back in the days, customer relationship SaaS products doing such things in that space were like crazy complicated, having an awful design, crazy expensive, and we wanted to have like a prosumer approach in the customer relationship space. And yeah, it's the way it is. And just that when I started Crisp, I didn't know even what the SaaS word was meaning.
You went from not knowing what SaaS means to going through the SaaSpocalypse that we're going to discuss about.
We were quite young when we started Crisp. I was just 20.
And so when you look at what's changing in the business since the ChatGPT moment a few years ago, what has actually changed in the core business in the last year and a half?
So AI indeed is changing the way people use products on internet, and they have expectations when they communicate with companies in terms of response time. They expect someone to solve their problem quickly.
Yeah.
And another thing, they expect an AI as well to help them. So in Crisp, when we started Crisp was a human-first approach.
Yeah.
We started to integrate over the time chatbots, workflows. So, do you want to contact sales? Do you want to contact technical support, and having different flows? It's like when you call
like
a company like an airline.
Yeah.
And over the time, we started to implement AI blocks, so NLP to understand meaning, context. And now with the ChatGPT moment, it's amazing because nowadays LLMs and AIs can really understand what users want, what their problems are, and find a solution. And over the time now, what we do at Crisp is having this mixed approach. with agentic AI and humans. And what we see is, on average, having both really increase customer satisfaction.
Yeah. And so, obviously, customer support is at the forefront of AI. When people talk about it, people often say, the first job to be automated will be customer support. Whether it's true or not is a separate story. But where are you feeling pressure the most today? Is it in pricing? Is it in retention? Is it in acquisition? Is it in product expectation? Like, where do you feel?
In terms of AI, it's product expectations, because people just think, okay, I'm going to enable AI and boom, it works.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, your documentation is shit. I mean, your documentation is telling this, and you're telling quite the opposite to your customers. Or your website is stating this, and in fact, your product is not doing that. 90% it's like this. So we did a big job on Crisp over the past year to simplify our AI offer. So we split Crisp in two different parts, where Crisp is the human support system. And we released recently in February a new product named Hugo, where Hugo is the AI first system.
Yeah.
So we revamped all the previous AI tooling we were having on Crisp and created a modern architecture, dedicated brand, dedicated product, solely for like solving this AI support system. And I think we did a great job, because since we've done this, we see the since the product is like super easy now to be used. Like, it's one click, it understands your documentation, it helps you to revamp your documentation as well. It reads and analyze your support tickets and suggests improvements to your documentation. So now it's just a one-click setup, and boom, it's done.
And so, in terms of customer expectations, what customers are expecting today that they were not expecting, not even 12 months ago, but even maybe 6 months ago?
Years ago, all customers were dreaming about even solving 10, 20%, of having a 10 to 20% automation rate.
Yeah.
Now they expect a lot more. Right now, Crisp can do around 60 to 70%.
Wow.
I don't believe it's possible to reach 100% satisfaction automation rate, for different reasons. It really depends of company size. It's harder for smaller companies to have a big automation rate, because their process are changing, product is changing. They don't really have time to document everything. They don't have that many cases, tickets to be used to retrain documentation. So it's harder for such companies. Where on the opposite, for bigger companies, they really have structured processes, user flows, documentation. And we even have like a few companies reaching like a 90% automation rate. But that is the thing. They expect a big automation rate. So it means the AI is processing a lot more information, questions, tickets. So a lot more things may happen, when we talk about hallucinations. Well, it needs to be zero. So it needs like a big job. What we've done, for instance, is creating our own AI models to solve very specific needs, very specific parts. They just want it to work without having to code anything. It needs to be simple, easy, actionable, and to be able to monitor as well what's going on.
And so you've built your own model, and you monitor the automation yourself, but you don't charge per automation, contrary to Fin.
In terms of competition, we have some competitors charging per conversation or per resolution. And we've decided to not do it for different reasons, but the main reason is like when you mentioned FinAI, which is one of our competitors, they had to train their own model just solely to know if conversation was solved or not.
Yeah.
But the thing it's limiting as well the ability for the AI to solve bigger conversations, because what they want is to charge $1 every time the conversation is resolved. So they want to make sure that it's resolved every time. So, how can I fetch my invoices? Oh, here is the way to fetch your invoices. Boom, conversation closed, $1. So it's good for them in terms of billing, but in the end, it's awful in terms of customer experience, because in the end, they're going to start a conversation by having like a simple question. Okay, what your company is doing, what your SaaS is doing. Okay, I might be interested. Do you have any demo? Ah, okay. And what's the pricing, by the way? It's the way people chat
Of course.
nowadays. So what we've done is just a mix between, it's mostly token based. So the more people gonna chat with your AI, the more you're gonna spend. But in the end, everyone is aligned.
Yeah.
It's easy nowadays. People know what tokens are. And the more you use, the more you pay. But if the more you use, the more satisfaction, the more usage you're going to have from your own users.
Yeah, I mean, as a side note, I started my first company 20 years ago was a chatbot company.
Yeah.
I told you, Virtuos. And I invented the cost per dialogue, cost per chat model, because cost per resolution was something that everybody wanted. But then you sit down with a customer and say, do you think that this is a resolution or not?
Exactly.
You have 20 opinions on 20 conversations.
Like, customers, they have their own opinion. Companies have their own opinion as well. It's not possible to do one model for all. So, let's simplify that.
I completely understand that. You're a bootstrap startup. So like most bootstrap startup, you rely a lot on SEO for inbound, and on top of that, because you're a widget on so many websites, you must have a lot of backlinks.
You get the point,
So that's great. How has SEO and inbound changed for you, if at all, in the last 6 months?
Well, it's still strong. Many people think SEO is dying because of AI, etc. But in the end, it's just kind of the same, because you just have to do more SEO, because LLMs use, ChatGPT, Claude, etc. They use search engines as well.
Yeah.
And search engines which are simpler compared to Google, which is easy to trick as well. So it's just evolving, changing. We see like Google search slowing a bit, but I mean, not on our side, but global trends. It's Google is slowing a bit, and on the opposite, ChatGPT usage, LLMs usage is growing a lot. So
do you have a lot of? Do you see different types of traffic from LLMs versus Google, for example?
Yes. What we see with LLMs, it's high intent search, because when people talk to ChatGPT, they really explain context, what they need. And in the end, ChatGPT might suggest crisp. So in the end, when they come on crisp, they already know what we do, and it's good for them. We had an example, for instance, we had a customer comparing two of our competitors with ChatGPT. And in fact, ChatGPT told this customer, but maybe for your needs, you don't even need this and this. I think you should use Crisp. It would do a better job in your case. And Google wouldn't do that.
Yeah, of course. And do you when you think about growing a SaaS, especially one like Crisp, which has a pretty large surface area, you start using SEO tricks to get like maybe not direct customer support or chat software, but something that is a bit more further away. and where you can rank number 1 or number 2, ideally, on some blog posts.
Yeah.
Do you see that disappearing in your case, or people are like that long tail? Do you see any impacts on your metrics?
Usually what works with Google works with LLMs.
Yeah.
For instance, like basic tricks, but we noticed that doing 2026 in titles and content has a huge impact.
Yeah.
So LLMs can be tricked. Now there is an unfair advantage for a company like us, because the way not search engines, but the way LLMs and ChatGPT works, it works in 2 phases. You have a pre-trained LLM, so where knowledge is embedded inside, and this LLM is using a search engine. So what's the best customer support tool? This search engine gonna rank and list different customer support tools, and the pre-trained LLM, so the neural engine, gonna pick choices. So even if you do a very good job in terms of SEO, likely your results gonna come up in the search engine.
Yeah.
But now the trick is the LLM to pick your results.
Yeah.
And because Crisp is a company that was started 10 years ago, we have this unfair advantage because the LLM already knows what Crisp is, and it's good. The reviews, etc. It knows already, so it's likely to pick a Crisp result compared to like a new SaaS business who started like maybe a year ago. The LLM is not knowing anything about them, so they're less likely to come up.
And so, if you were starting Crisp today, would your growth strategy change because of it? Either because the landscape has changed, or because you would not benefit from these 10 years of data?
Well, I think we would do the same. It just would be harder. Because in terms of brand, I mean, when you create a new brand, humans don't know your brand, AIs don't know your brand. So you have to maybe rely on social media or new marketing techniques. But in terms of SEO content, I don't think we would have to change anything. Because the things that were working years ago are still working, are still relevant right now. It's changing, but in the end, the best way to create content is to what is useful for AIs needs to be useful for humans as well. So we just don't want to make shit posting, etc. It needs to be, if you read this landing page, it needs to be useful to you, interesting, engaging. And same for LLMs. So there are a few tricks, indeed, but the way you structure your page, keywords, it's a bit different. But it's still relevant.
And so if you think about your product today, or Crisp today, what do you think is the most immune to disruption in the next 5 years? And where do you say that part we'll see?
Many people think that AI gonna replace customer support, etc. Well, I think it's wrong, and I think it would be bad, especially in terms of customer relationship and sales. What we see is there is less churn when we engage ourselves with customers, because it creates trust. And in terms of product improvements as well, when you have someone complaining about your product, it really creates something. You understand, okay, they're using the product in that way. Okay, we can tweak things, change things. So support is useful to your company as well. Now, we think that Crisp is very strong on this inbox product, human interaction product. It's really where we are very good doing chat products. We love doing that. Now, in terms of AI, it's going super fast. So we keep up as well. We started doing research in 2021 with the first, it was before GPT-3. So we tried to train our own transformers to understand how it works, doing essentially RAG before RAG. neural search engine, vectoring. We started doing that quite a long time ago to understand areas where we could be useful, and we still do that nowadays. Well, to have stuff quite before it's ready, like prototypes, early stage prototypes, because what we want to do in the end is really helping users. As a person, when I have an issue with a company, an airline, or whatever, I really feel mad. So we will really put a lot of passion in Crisp, to fight this, to really help users. So yeah, we do a lot of research on AI. For instance, right now we have a beta product that reads all your conversations, and it's popping a lot of sub-agents to analyze all your conversations, update your knowledge base. So it's like, I don't know if you code.
With Cloud Code, yeah.
Yeah, it's like Cloud Code or Cursor.
Yeah.
You can approve changes, etc. So it's good, and we have a lot of prototypes like this that we put in production a lot faster compared to before, because of AI nowadays. What I do is I do initially a prototype, a proof of concept, with a lot of AI research. So code is not like super good, but it works. And until the point that we feel that, okay, it's a very good feature, we need to put this inside Hugo, inside Crisp, and then we make it concrete.
And so that's a good segue to, I would say, how you implement AI within the company.
Yeah.
So you're a 30 people company.
Yeah.
Most of them, all of them are in Nantes, right?
No, half of the team is French. Because we are a worldwide company.
Yeah.
We have customers all around the world, so we need people following the clock.
So you have people you have engineers, you have product people, content people, probably marketing and sales people, as well as customer support for your own product, obviously. How do you train them, and how have you implemented AI within your company?
I don't know how to translate it in English, but you're going to help me. Chasse-neige.
Okay, it's a pizza. It's in ski, you do the pizza.
Yeah. But it's my job. So basically, what I do on AI, I do research.
Yeah.
It's working, but it's not ready for production.
Okay.
I try stuff, and then I see the guys, the engineers, my co-founder or Elliot, and okay, I have this. I think it's good. Now I need help to make it work. So for instance, when ChatGPT was released in 2023 now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
2023, yeah.
I understood quickly that we could do some kind of vibe coding.
Yeah.
There was no name for that yet, but for instance, we're struggling with one thing at Crisp is code reviews.
Okay.
The way we code is specific, and we were, especially Valerian, our CDO and co-founder, is spending a lot of time in terms of code review. So all the code is the same. So we all have the same code base, same level everywhere. So I thought, okay, but it would be amazing to have a linting system doing like Valerian does. And I asked ChatGPT, okay, what's so specific about our code? And again and again and again. And we came up with around 300 different rules, which were created by GPT 3.5. And we still use those rules. So it was pre-vibe coding, but just to make it bulletproof once the AI is ready to do vibe coding. And nowadays it's amazing because we can be a lot faster because we have internal tooling as well to make sure that code generated by AIs or humans really follow the same rules. Okay. And it makes production safe code. And you cannot really notice what code was generated by humans or AIs because of this. It's one way to use AI and to be faster as well.
Yeah. And so So engineers, obviously for them, very core use case. And it's interesting how you codified, you created skills in a way before skills were invented in terms of.
It's not skills because in the end it generates code.
Yeah, but it's basically kind of a guidebook of how code is generated for Crisp, which is different than other companies. And it's not just random way of coding completely or orthogonal to how you were doing it before. And how do you use it also internally with the other teams like sales, marketing? How do they use it?
In different ways. So for instance, I'm the only true AI engineer at Crisp. What I've done is around 1 year of not full time, but a lot of research on AI. So to train our own models. And now what I do is I teach, for instance, the developers on Hugo. I teach them. So it's, having AI engineers is crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But AI is not rocket science. It's just going super fast.
Yeah.
So it's my job to understand that. And I explain developers, okay, we need to change this. We need to adapt this, and I explain them. And it's the way we work. And about your question about marketing, for instance, we have Antoine at Crisp. Antoine, before he was doing like updating websites, which is website is mostly programmatic. So programmatic content. So he was updating JSON files, stuff like that. And now, just because of Cursor, Cloud Code, etc., he can just update the website on his own and directly from his own feeling, in his own thinking, he can just update the website the way he wants. What he does as well is he's using Visio from Vercel.
Yeah.
Sometimes when he has an idea to generate interfaces before reaching a freelancer or designer, because the way we already know what we're talking about. Okay, we have this interface, it's good, just we want to make it like okay in terms of design. So it's a way he works. I know that he's doing a lot of research as well and use AIs to track content, keywords. In terms of sales, what we do is they record their meetings and then they can cross-check what was said in the meeting and to check content about Crisp articles. So in the end, you can send a follow-up email to the customer. Okay, so you should enable this feature. Here is the link. You should enable this. Here is the documentation link, etc. It's one of the way they work with AI.
Yeah, for follow-up and after call recording, I think it's quite spectacular what you can do now. I'm building a management system for our company and leveraging our documentation, granola calls, transcripts, and all that stuff. So I see what you're talking about. One question I had also is your AI is providing tools for them.
Yeah.
Does it change how you grow the company moving forward in terms of hiring, in terms of scaling processes at scale? Because you're already 30 people, you have people in different geographies. It's always hard to make sure that people are aligned and doing the same thing in the Philippines, in the US, in Latin America, in Africa, in Europe. So how do you leverage AI? How do you change how you're building the company?
Well, AI is not a magic word for everything. In terms of product, yes, it's helping us a lot in terms of code, in terms of design. AI is very good on that. In terms of processes and internal tooling, well, we don't have that many AI for internal tooling. Stuff needs to be easy. You don't need, for instance, in terms of management, the advantage of having a small team is decision making is easy. People can be autonomous. So you don't need to have a management AI. What AI did, for instance, is solving cases of fraud. We try to automate that way. Yeah, there are different ways to automate. You can automate with AI or just with code. AI can generate the code that's going to solve like specific needs with your back office, etc.
Okay. And so you don't think that you'll hire less people as you grow because of AI, or different types of people?
Don't think we hire less. We are 30, so
Yeah.
we try at Crisp to hire when there is a need to hire. And in terms of developers, I think there were not that many developers at Crisp. I think it's bad for companies to fire developers because developers in the end are not coders. Their job is not creating code. It's just their job is creating and improving features. You can ask an AI about doing code or doing a feature, but the AI doesn't really understand why we need to do this, what is it for. And it's where developers are really good. And what we see as well is with the AI slope coming with AI generated code, many companies are struggling. AI vibe coding is very good to kickstart a product.
Yeah.
But at some point, it starts to be AI slope, so it's important to have engineers to just understand that even if they use AI to do it, just make sure that it makes sense. The architecture is okay to be evolving because otherwise you're going to come up with code helpers in one folder, other helpers in another, etc. And especially for AI contexts, it's important to structure stuff properly.
And so, if we want to talk about Hugo, so Hugo is a product that you launched a month ago.
Yeah.
And you decided to build a separate brand, separate product for the AI native product. Why did you want to do that? Like, what came to that decision?
Like, we wanted to avoid the Bard thing, the Bard effect from Google or Siri effect from Apple. So we had AI early on Crisp, NLP, etc. And if you do a Crisp AI stuff, because we already had that before, people are going to just think, okay, it's an evolution of the previous feature and not something which is brand new. And another thing which I've noticed is about friends, some friends telling, oh, I chat with ChatGPT, Gemini, and he told me that, like a person. And I thought, okay, we need to have a person name for this AI. And it works. And it worked very well because the day we released Hugo, the name was there and people really noticed, understood that name. And we see that, okay, Hugo told me that perfectly. It's exactly what we wanted. And people even noticed that it has a personality, etc. So
What's personality?
We designed Hugo to be engaging and chatty.
Okay.
So compared to competitors, we mentioned FinAI. So most competitors are trying to resolve tickets. You come with an issue, I solve your issue, you pay me $1, problem solved. Hugo, because we don't do per resolution, is engaging. Okay, I want to use Crisp. Oh, what for? Okay, what framework? What CMS, etc. It's engaging. So yeah, Hugo has its own personality.
And so I understand now why you created Hugo, to just because you liked the fact it was personalized.
Personality, yeah.
No, and that also it would feel for customers like it's a new product.
Yeah.
And so, but when I go to Crisp's website today, you're mentioning AI agent on the homepage while also giving the link to Hugo. So how do you deal with these two approaches? Are they basically the same? And what problem do you think that Hugo is solving for the customer that Crisp AI, even rebranded, would not solve?
So what we see is existing Crisp users really understand what Hugo is. So it's not a problem for them that having like a banner, okay, this is Hugo. They really understand, okay, it's Crisp AI, but separate product. And they really understand that, and they can really notice the change because it's a very important change in terms of product. What's interesting is we can play on two brands and play with, okay, you want a big solution to solve your customer needs. There is Crisp, which is their existing brand. And we see users just wanting a full AI agent, modern stuff, and they come for Hugo.
So you have Hugo only customers?
Well, in the end, to use only Hugo, you're going to need a Crisp account.
Okay.
But in terms of marketing, it's good because what we see is customers coming on our support and I just want Hugo and only Hugo. I don't need your campaign feature. I don't need advanced analytics. Just want to chat an AI that chat with my customers.
Okay. And so if you think about today, you're on a specific month, now that you have Hugo, what percentage of your new paying customers you think are only coming for Hugo versus those that want the whole thing?
I think it's around 40% right now only coming from Hugo. What we see as well, it's easier to onboard them because they don't need the full stuff. They start only with the AI. It's also helping us in terms of onboarding because before on Crisp, you had different types of onboarding. Okay, do you want to set up your mailbox? Do you want to set up the chat on your website, etc.? Well, if you want to go with Hugo, well, we know that what you want is AI. So the first step we do, it's important in terms of aha moment to really for you to understand the value of the product. So what we do is training Hugo. It's step one.
Yeah.
So quickly you can understand, wow, it can answer this kind of question. Amazing.
And does it have like the decision tree kind of a chatbot functionality that you had before, or is it pure LLM?
It's both. So what we've done with Hugo is merging different products we had before.
Okay.
So Hugo is an AI agent having access to like legacy workflows. So for instance, you can have Hugo on the top of like tree decisions, etc. So for instance, you can say by prompting if a user wants a demo or like even simple. If a user wants the refund, I want you to trigger this workflow. And so it's going to fall back to workflow instead, and workflow going to ask you, okay, with predefined messages, why a refund? Was too expensive, product is not working, etc. And at the end, you can resume Hugo as well.
And so it's quite complex architecture. And so do Crisp customers only pay for Crisp but don't access Hugo? Like how do you deal with pricing?
So before we already had a chatbot included on Crisp.
Yeah.
So what we've done is including this chatbot offer in Hugo. And because Hugo is credit based, what we do is we offer free credits on every Crisp plan.
Okay.
So you have, for instance, on the essential plans, which is $95 a month, you have a $25 a month credit on Hugo. Like Cursor or Cloud Code, you have a free amount, and on the top, it's gonna be pay as Hugo.
Okay. And how has it shifted the economics, both in terms of maybe increasing the
pricing? You mean
pricing? Well, I mean, on the one hand, people pay more because they have more value. On the other hand, you have a different cost structure because you have to pay for tokens. So how has it changed the unit economics of your business?
Not that much because we optimize a lot of things. It's why we use ChatGPT, we use Claude as well for Hugo, but we have our own models as well. So it's not that expensive for us to run the AI architecture. Right now, our pricing is like it's brand new, so it's working. Maybe it's gonna evolve over the time. Some users gonna tell, okay, I don't care about pricing. I just want an AI that works, and I don't care about paying like 3K, 4K a month. Other like smaller businesses don't really like this approach of like paying not per conversation, but in the end per token, so per message. Maybe having a mix between like a flat pricing per month. But there are different ways to do.
And so when you approach the launch of Hugo, did you say, okay, we're going to market it first to the crisp customers as an upsell? Or did you say, you know what, we'll do that, but we want to actually go and reach to outside customers?
Both. But initially we thought about doing only Hugo as a side, like even having like a different chat widget system, different dashboard. And I thought, well, we already have customers. We already have a chatbot system, AI systems. It's hard, but maybe we could just revamp the system a lot. It's going to be a lot of work, but in the end, we can reuse and sell Hugo to those existing customers. And it's what we did. And Hugo has been designed as well to be integrated with other products. Right now, Crisp is the only integration with Hugo. But we could integrate with like competitors. We could integrate with other products such as Slack, Notion. Well, it's plug and play for us to do that now.
And what surprised you the most in the launch, both good or bad? Did you expect more uptake from your existing customers or more uptake from new customers? Or
well, the launch was complex for us because we were revamping and merging different products into like a new one. What we noticed is some of our users and large users were using the workflow scenarios in certain ways, bad ways, not really sticking to in fact, we had bugs and we had to reproduce the same bugs in Hugo. So it works exactly the same way. It was difficult for us because initially we wanted to migrate automatically all the user base to Hugo. And we decided like maybe 3 days before the launch that it would be a manual opt-in process. So we've designed an onboarding system for that migration process, which takes only 10 seconds, but still we had to do it. So it was like 5 complicated days post-launch, but now users are very happy about Hugo. It's working very well. We see that right now most of the user base did the migration process. They're happy with it. They have a ton of suggestions, features to be built, to be added. But what's cool with Hugo is it's a modern system. So, well, we do, for instance, since we've released Hugo, we did like thousands different commits, 1,000 different changes to Hugo. So yeah, quite a lot. And at the same time, we saw funny things happening. Do you know the rickrolled meme? So in 2008, YouTube did on the 1st of April a joke. It was every time you were clicking on a YouTube video, it was redirecting you to a song, which is I never give you up, never gonna let you down. Yeah, okay. We had a user who was rickrolled by Hugo.
Okay.
So it's purely an hallucination from the LLM, and it was Cloud Opus actually.
Okay.
So yeah, a smart LLM. But what happened? We use in the end a RAG. The documentation article was trimmed. So at the end, there was a YouTube link, youtube.com/ and then it was trimmed. So this URL was injected into the context. And what Opus did, because in the end, LLMs are just filling the empty space. What is the most obvious YouTube link on the internet? The rickroll link. So it replaced the empty link with a rickroll link. And I was quite happy to have this. Well, it's funny. It was fixed since, but still, even if AIs are like super smart, AIs are still made of like LLMs and having like it might happen. Yeah.
Has this launch accelerated your growth or allowed you to maintain the growth? Like, what has been the business impact of that launch?
Maintaining growth for sure. We're still discovering the growth making of Hugo, but like I'm 100% confident that it's exactly what we had to do for Crisp. We see that it has a lot of adoption in terms of revenue. There's still stuff that needs to be done, so it's easy to be installed, etc.
Yeah,
people really want such AIs to be plug and play. As explained, Crisp is used by many small businesses, small, medium businesses, and sometimes Hugo is not answering exactly the way we want. And main reason is their content is bad. Documentation, they have 20 different articles, documentation articles. What do you want Hugo to do with 20 different articles? Nothing. So right now we are doing like different product updates to address this.
Yeah, I mean that's and so is it about making it more collaborative and asking questions to the client?
So it's already doing that to make sure that that the answer gonna really be following user needs. Well, we have different areas where we're working on. Area 1 is reading conversations and suggesting updates to documentation. Update number 2 gonna be, I think, to integrate with tools such as Notion, Slack. So, for instance, what we see is a lot of teams are using Slack for like internal knowledge, etc. They have their team asking in a global channel, like a support channel, oh, I have this customer asking this, I don't know what the problem is, and then you have developers answering in the thread. I think Hugo can be useful for that. Injecting Slack context in Hugo, and on the opposite, Hugo could answer inside Slack. Okay, you're asking this, but I think this is already the answer. And then you could have a / update documentation, and Hugo can suggest a draft. Okay, you want me to update documentation? I think we should edit this article. Is it okay? Yes, accept.
Yeah. So you're a technical founder.
Yeah.
You built Crisp. It's a good business, profitable business. And then AI came. It changed dynamic. So you're technical. So I'm sure you were very happy to dive into the AI and to all of this. I mean, the last part of this podcast, I wanted to talk about the psychology of, because on the one hand, you have all the SaaS brands, their stock price has gone down.
Yeah.
So the valuation of your company, I mean, obviously you don't have investors, so you don't really care, but it's still your capital, your asset. There's a risk. Am I going to be disrupted? All that stuff. Like, how do you handle this period emotionally?
Oh, for instance, I saw a coach 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was more for management, but in the end, you can be. If you want to manage people properly, it's in terms of emotions. Everything is emotional in life, company, humans, etc. So you need to understand, okay, why I am doing this. For me, it's not about money. It's just why I'm sticking with Crisp for like 10 years now. I told you in the beginning of the podcast, I love to fight about like technical stuff indeed, but customer problems.
Yeah.
It's very important for me. In the end, AI is disrupting a lot of SaaS businesses, but maybe it's good for them because they were not really paying attention for their customers. Their product was like trash. In the end, it's gonna disrupt a bit, even a lot, private equity firms. Because of this, they are not updating product enough. They just want to increase prices, and not really do what their customers need, what their customers want. In the end, that would be my advice for entrepreneurs. If you do something which is good, needed by your customers, well, it's going to work.
And so has AI made you more stressed, less stressed? I mean,
Well, I mean, it's not AI, but for sure, things are going faster, a lot faster. If I had to compare like to 5 years ago, and the way we were building features, it's totally different. You need to be faster because competition gonna be faster as well. You need to think a bit differently because if you can do a feature just by prompting, your competitor is gonna do as well. You need to do non-obvious stuff in terms of useful but not obvious.
yeah, building more differentiation in unique ways. How has the notion of success changed in your mind in that new environment, or not really?
So we had an acquisition offer last year
Okay.
that we refused, and it's what moved us as well to create Hugo because so June 2025 we did a huge party with family friends for the 10 years of Crisp, and then we decided to work differently to release Hugo as well, to tell ourselves, okay, if we have to rebuild Crisp right now, what we would do, how we would work. So for instance, before we were not doing any meetings, never. But sometimes it's good to have meetings between founders just to make sure that, okay, we just think the same way and the issues that customers are having, we're solving them.
You mentioned that you have more urgency than before. Is there one belief that you had 2 years ago that you don't have anymore today?
For instance, I thought initially that it would be very difficult to do user-facing AIs, user-facing LLMs, because before the hallucination rate was quite high.
Yeah.
But now, especially since this year, since Sonnet 4.5, since GPT-5, AI models now are very okay. And we are augmenting those AI models with our own models. So it's okay. There's still a tiny bit of hallucination, but it's getting there. In terms of code, no, I'm just 100% sure that AIs can do, if we use it properly, can do a better job than we do as developers. We do less mistakes when we use AI. We just need to use those tools properly.
By the way, on your own model, do you use probably an open source model? Is it Mistral or is it a Chinese model?
Well, different models. Chinese models such as Qwen are the easy ones to be fine-tuned. If you want to do a good model, you need to have a good pre-trained model. Yeah. So we use different model architectures for that. Some of our architectures are quite old, so like encoders models. And for decoders models, I mostly rely on Qwen models right now, which are quite easy to train. But with some, well, it's not the story on this podcast, but we change models quite a lot.
Okay.
Right now we do research to have models which can be retrained on the fly.
Wow.
Like having your own model. So not with RAG, but with true fine tuning for each customers. For instance, we have spam filters as well doing that. So yeah, different architectures. We use different inference system as well. So inference systems are the engines that are running models.
Yeah.
So I contribute as well to such systems. Not because of the passion of open source, but because sometimes there are bugs or important stuff that we need. So I either push the existing developers of this project to do it, or sometimes when they don't want to do it, I do it myself. And we have GPUs as well.
Okay.
But yeah, we try to be pragmatic. Sometimes you can just use an open source model or Claude or OpenAI to do it. And sometimes even for like simple cognitive tasks, you need to do your own model. especially for classification tasks, because an AI agent is a succession of different steps.
Yeah.
So if your step is like 88% accurate, you do 88% multiplied by 88. In the end, the more steps you have, the less accuracy you're going to have. So instead of 88, it needs to be 99. So to achieve 99, you need to have your own models.
I mean, I wrote a year ago that software is going to discover the mechanical engineering, the industrial engineering part where you need to reduce mistakes and have quality control.
It's the same on not only AI research, software research, but I think in terms of molecules, I mean, medical stuff as well. AI is going to be able to simulate stuff, try different approaches. And it's what Yann Lequin is doing with his JPA models, the world architectures. It's really, to me, the way to go.
Yeah. 2 questions before we close. If you're a bootstrapped SaaS founder today, what advice would you give them as they navigate this period?
Do useful things and something that you love. Because I see a lot of founders doing stuff because there is AI. For instance, in our space, there are a lot of guys doing support tools, and they don't really, I don't think they like customer support. So they're not doing like amazing stuff. And especially in our space, it's quite competitive. So do something that you truly like. If you do something that you truly like, that is useful, well, you can do amazing things.
Yeah, it's a good takeaway. My last question, it's a question I often ask my guests, a more personal question. What is the most important thing that you learned from your mother?
From my mother?
Yeah.
I think it's work. Taking care of kids is a full-time job. So she was doing that. So, when I was going back from school, I was to do my homework and I had to really do it properly. And it was the same. We were discussing about that with my co-founder, Valérian. It was the same with his father. And when you go back from school and you have to do your homework with like parents like that, it creates something special. Then you become an adult because you know what working means.
Yeah, high standards.
Yeah, high standards, exactly. It needs to be 19 or 20 and not 15.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much
for coming here.
C'était cool.
Bye. Thank you for joining in the board session. Please make sure to like, subscribe, add a 5-star review, or anything that you can do to make more people discover our show.